Well, hi there, racing fans, and welcome to another edition of Winning Waves. Yes, you're not on the wrong channel. The reserve team is out today. Both Paul and James are in Australia. But good news is that in your call tonight, James will be interviewing Michael Roberts, part 2. That was obviously pre-recorded, so you can look forward at the end of the show to the second half of that very good interview, James Goodman talking to Michael Roberts. Driving the show with me this morning is none other than KB Shea. Kevin Shea, welcome to the show, bud.
Graham, very nice to be here. Yeah, I had a chat to the boys this morning, Lef and James in Adelaide, buying horses and hoping we can get another Harry's Son or one of those horses to get into this country and make us proud.
Talking about Harry's Son, he hasn't really disappointed in Dubai. You've been there, you know the quality of horse that runs around in that part of the world. They're now looking to Hong Kong to maybe capture more international glory in that part of the world?
Yeah, I thought his first run was a very good run. Hadn't run for 10 months, as you know, and I didn't see a big improvement. He just stayed on his next 2 runs. He has got a run in the duty-free, so the guys will have a crack at $6 million, but hopefully there's prize money all the way down, so it can pay their way. But after that, Hong Kong looks the
so
right
it's
way.
The Dubai Duty Free and then the Hong Kong Mile.
Yeah, it's called, it used to be the duty free, it's called the Dubai Turf now. 1,800 meters, used to be 1777, so you're going a bit further. It is a tough track, you know, the grass, they've got lots of grass on there and they put a lot of water on, so it could be even further than 1,800.
Very much like a British turf track.
Absolutely, that's what they like. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see if Laf is quite determined that trip is not a problem. But you must understand now, you're not taking on carnival horses solo, and all the big horses are coming from Europe, Japan. It's going to be it's normally the strongest race on the card. So he's up against it. You need a draw. The word out is that Anthony Del Pesh will be riding him now. So very nice for Anthony, but $6 million, you've got to take a chance. You've
got to take your chances. I know this sounds crazy. I mean, 200 meters is 200 meters wherever you go in the world. But I've always had this view that somehow a British racing turf 200 meters seems a lot further than a South African 200 meters. They take forever to cover those furlongs in Britain. The track just seems more holding, deeper, and different type of turf surface to the ones that we used to in this country.
Absolutely. I'm fortunate enough to be ridden on a couple of those tracks, and you've got to have some special horse and they've got to be super fit. But you're 100% right, that last 200 meter mark, the guys jump on top of you, or you can't get past the guy who's been leading the whole way. So yeah, it's great racing. It's going to be a great night's racing in Dubai.
Okay, well, back to matters South African, and we're going to follow the usual show format. We kick off with our 3 to follow, and we're going to start off at Greyville on the Polytrack on the 9th of March. But let's first of all go to our sting.
And they are off in the Travers. Flower Alley is the winner.
His dad, Distorted Humor, he's probably one of his best sons at stud.
I'll have another, wins the Derby. I'll have another in the Preakness.
Lilacs and Lace, 48-1, upset.
He's just a big, strong, leggy horse.
Well, as mentioned, we're going to go back to Wednesday, the 9th of March on the Greyville Polytrack, and we're going to pick up the action from race 2 on that occasion, and Princess Analia.
Yeah, Graham, there were 6 runners, drawn 5 with the blue colours, comes out. I thought Warren Kennedy done very well to get her in a bit. But from 12 to 1 to 11 to 2, there was money for it, so it was fancy. But Warren gets it very nice now, 1 off the fence, following the Robbie Hill horse. And lucky enough, he gets a horse to come around him and actually give him a lead into the straight. So I thought that was a very good part on Warren Kennedy now. Actually, the horse doesn't really get past him around the outside. Warren's keeping his position. But there was talk for the horse on the course, and ran second, but I think bumped a very nice horse of Mark Miller's that was highly fancied, and great to see Steve Stolice's colours back on the track and him back on the track. But
Yeah, I think this winner, Kev, is something quite special. I know it's always difficult to label early 2-year-old winners as something special, but by Western Winter, out of that great race mare Outcome, that's the winner, number 3, Call Me Winter. And you'll see that our horse to follow, number 7, Princess Analia, runs all the way through to the line. I realise the winner is being eased up fractionally. She's out of the Australian mare by Grand Lodge, so she's got a nice pedigree on the dam side, and certainly an eye-catching performance. And nice to see these 2-year-olds coping with the bend at Gravel so well. We've had a number of juvenile races already on the turn, both on the poly track and on the turf, and they've seemed to handle the bend well.
yeah, absolutely. I remember the old days we used to all line up at Clarewood and Maritzburg down the straight. It was a lot easier, but the guys are doing well now. The horses are coming around the turn. You can see them all sticking to the inside rail. Guys giving clear runs. It's going to be interesting when you see the fields get a bit fuller, but that'll be coming soon, so we're looking forward to that.
Okay, so let's move on to our second of our 3 horses to follow, and this could be a real special one. Kenilworth, we saw some really exciting juvenile racing at Kenilworth on Saturday. Loads of high quality, well-bred, expensive individuals, including in the first race, which was the Birchwood Hotel Maiden Juvenile Plate for fillies. R2.5 million purchase at the Cape Premier Yearling Sale in 2015. The Trippy out of Viva. Viva, of course, the dam of Viva Lavar, and of Calder's Ice, who's now an international winner. So there was a lot of interest in number 5, Live Life, was backed to make a winning debut. Will jump out of the number 2 gate. Didn't get the best of starts, but runs a very pleasing first race. So Kev there on the inside, as you can see, jumped inward slightly, and as you can see, not as quick away as the leading lights in the race, but certainly stays on well at the end.
Yeah, definitely. You can see that when it jumped inwards like that, did lose a few lengths, but Grant Finico gets it straight back into the race. Back from 5 to 1 to 18 to 10, so it must be showing something at home. Sitting behind him there, travelling quite nicely. You can see Grant doesn't really bustle her, but Kenilworth is a testing track, and he's following the horse on his inside, pulls it out now. It's got to get between them now. It's always difficult for the babies. They get a little bit reluctant, which she looks like that now, but comes through. It actually looks like she's going to go through to win it, but I think there's 1 or 2 other ones that are a little bit fitter than her, as Mark Bass always leaves a little bit in the tank. Looks like it's actually just about going to win now, but the other 2 come through inside and outside and run out of it, but very close, short heads in it, and as you say, 1 to follow. If that just improves 2 or 3 lengths, which they normally do, very hard horse to beat, and I think it'll be in the red next time it runs.
Well, just a comment about the winner, number 9, South Side, a 2-year-old daughter of Path Falk. He seems to have made a very good start to his stud career. They were quite bullish on this horse yet. It blew in the betting from quite a short opening call to big odds in the end, as the money poured onto number 5, Live Life. As you say, these 2-year-olds, both Southside, the winner, and number 5, Live Life, who, as we said, has got a ton of pedigree by Tripiata Viva, bred by the Aventure Thoroughbred Farm. Both of these horses can be expected to show big improvement as they continue to progress their racing careers. But exciting to see this time of the year as the 2-year-olds start to come out. We've obviously only had 1 or 2 minor features at this time. Of course, the Highveld season beckons, as does champion season here in KwaZulu-Natal, when the 2-year-olds will be tested to the limit. But it's always exciting to see the new crop coming out, and I'm sure Live Life is not going to be a maiden for much longer. As we move on to the third of our 3 to follow, and this comes from Gravel on Sunday, the 13th of March. We were on the turf track on this occasion, but again, going around the turn, we pick up the action from the starting gates, and we're looking at Fortissimus coming out of gate number 6. Also trained by Robbie Hill and ridden by Anton Marcus. There was money for quite a few. The eventual winner, number 2, Diamond in the Sky, in the colours of Ray Kodake, is now just slightly ahead of our horse to follow, Fortissimus. Pleasing debut from both of these 2. They stretched well clear of the balance of the field. Kevin, you must have been impressed with the winner and the runner-up.
Yeah, a lot of talk in this race about horses that can run. Anton Marcus, you've got to respect his ride. He comes into the straight a little wide, but it's 5 furlongs. I don't think it makes too much difference, but Anton at top of the straight.
Many lengths clear, Kevin, of the eventual winner at this stage.
He's got the eventual winner, stone cold. We were watching the race with Ellison and Kevin Wright, and Anton, he's not hard at work now. He's just taking over. I think he maybe thinks he's got in the bag, but the stick comes out now. A couple of little taps to keep it going. But Brandon Arena on Kevin Wright's horse, Alison Wright's horse, comes past him with Ray Kudak's colours. No stick behind, and wins a very good race. By VAR, that is Diamond in the Sky. Very, very impressive.
Yeah, again, a very good performance. A bit green on the turn, but certainly put its act together and straight. And we'll talk about our South African statistics a little bit later on in current affairs. Always interesting to look at the latest logs. And VAR is well clear. I know it's early days, as we said a moment ago, as far as the 2-year-old or leading sire of 2-year-olds for the current season. Many feature races still to come, which will alter the situation. But VAR certainly got off to a flyer this season. He's already had 9 individual 2-year-old winners in the current season. Amazing performance by this very exciting sire, VAR. So that's our 3 to follow: Princess Analia, Live Life, and Fortissimus.
Soft falling rain, pulling clear. Soft falling rains won the SA Nursery by 3.
Racing in the 2,000 guineas. Gates fly and they're racing in the Godolphin Mile.
They're off and racing.
Weight didn't matter. Class tells, soft falling rain, much too good. Soft falling rain, an impressive guineas winner. Soft falling rain is drawing clear.
He's made it 7 out of 7 by winning here today.
But it's soft falling rain who is powering away. We'll see out the mile in style. A high-class performer wins the Nay of Joel Stakes.
Race around over 2,000 meters at 17. Was it supposed to be Roland Song again? Well, let's take a look.
Going out in search of the early lead with Budapest now rushing past him to ensure that this is a cracking gallop. Here we see the Terence Millard tactics at play as Budapest is out there to ensure that it's a very sound gallop, and he's escaped by 5 lengths from Sand, moving up into second. Just behind that is Roland Song. They were followed then by Von Spee. St. Just is racing about 4 lengths behind Roland Song in the early stages. Then behind that comes Castleton, doing it on the outside, a Naval Guess. Flying Herald is in behind those runners. Miss Averoff is back, one from last. Lord Bell Marino's in the back seat as they went past the 1400, and the pace is a cracker. Out in front, Budapest has the lead now. The Regent has moved up to racing second spot. Then Roland Song, she's moving comfortably in third position. Then we have a 3-length gap to Von Spee with on the outside of that Castleton. St. Just is racing all on her own. She's about 7 lengths off this leader. Behind St. Just, we've got Naval Guess. He has one covered on the outside. It looks like Sand. We go back to Miss Averoff, then Flying Herald, and Lord Bell Marino is still in the back seat. As they race now towards the home turn with 800 metres to go, Budapest is in front with the Regent only a length behind him now. Roland Song is in third spot. Behind that came Von Spee, then Castleton. Back along his inside is St. Just. They were followed by Sand. As they run down to the 600 now, and Roland Song is quick to grab the lead. Roland Song has gone for the doctor. She's gone many lengths clear of retiring the Regent. St. Just is now in pursuit. Behind that is Castleton. Miss Averoff starting to look dangerous on the outside. I'm looking for Naval Guess. He's also starting to run at the leaders. As they come by the 300 now, it's Roland Song who has it down the inside. St. Just, Miss Averoff, Naval Guess, they're all running at them on the outside, but Roland Song is still in front. Roland Song trying to keep running. St. Just, Naval Guess on the outside. Roland Song still in front. St. Just trying to wear her down. Roland Song, St. Just, they drive to the line. Roland Song has won it for the 2nd year in a row. St. Just second, Naval Guess was third, and Miss Averoff was fourth.
Gee, well, that is a blast from the past, that amazing race filly, Roland Song, for trainer Gene Hemming. And Kevin, thank goodness that the quality of our footage has improved since then.
Yeah, no, at least we can see the races today. But she was a brilliant filly. I remember her. You saw the pace she comes off there. Takes over the 600, goes clear, and as you said, looking for the line, and they were coming at them. But those days they sent pacemakers out, and they used to make big races.
2 great fillies. In fact, 3 fillies in the first 4 there. St. Just ran second, and Miss Averoff fourth. But that's our blast from the past. A playback from way back. Gene Hemming trained Roland Song. What a great filly she was.
Shea Devon, Easy Lovers come to the outside, but it's Romney Prince in front. 300 to go is 2 lengths clear here. Racing back in second, Master Switch. Judicial runs on further back to Diesel Jet. It's Romney Prince in front, is 3 lengths clear of Judicial back in second. Romney Prince keeping running. Judicial tries hard in the closing stages. Romney Prince from Judicial. Romney Prince will give Ormond Ferraris 2,500 winners. Second placing will go to Judicial. Then came Master Switch.
Well, more about Ormond Ferraris and his 2,500 winners in current affairs after the break. But that was Romney Prince winning the Drumstar Handicap incredibly, 28 to 10 an offer. That's our plum of the week.
Yes. If you love soccer and you play the tote, you won't believe what Interbet has to offer you, or the excitement of tote betting on your computer or your cell phone. It's simple. Choose your teams and your bets, work out what your combinations will cost, see how big the pool is, and place your bets. You can even track your bet live as it happens and get updates on your progress. It's all the fun of the tote on your phone. So what are you waiting for? Sign up now at www.interbet.co.za and you could be a winner.
And the first Bloodstock South Africa graduate of the week is Natal, who won his third start in course record time from only 4 outings in impressive style on the 6th of March at Scottsville, beating home the very useful Bunker Hill by 4 lengths over 1,200 metres. He is trained by Michael Roberts and was ridden by Brandon Larena. Natal was purchased at the 2014 KZN yearling sale for what now looks like a bargain price of 60,000 Rand, for owners Nick Labuschagne and Benji Johnson. Bred at the Chevrolet stud, who also bred Legislate, the 3-year-old colt Natal is by Argonaut out of the mare Hope Joanna. Welcome back after the break, and congratulations again to Nick Labuschagne and Benji Johnson. Natal, certainly an eye-catching individual and certainly a very impressive winner in course record time of his last start over 1,200 metres. Well, we're into current affairs, Kevin, and to be fair, it's been a bit of a quiet weekend, but not so for Ormond Ferraris. He got to that magical 2,500 winner mark.
Yeah, it's a lot of winners for a trainer. Jockeys get more chances. They travel around that before a trainer. As you say, as we say, Mr. Ferraris is a very outspoken person. A lot of people went against him. He was great as a chairman for the trainers and everything. And I was fortunate enough to put my little contribution in as well. He gave me a lot of chances. He's a great man to ride for. He preferred, owners used to drive him mad. He preferred to own his own horses. But if you made a mistake, you knew you made a mistake. It was best to come back and say, listen, Mr. Ferraris, I apologise. I did and you got away with it, maybe on the bench for 2 weeks. But he was a great man and well done. 2,500 winners is a very, very big achievement.
We'll get to Ormond Ferraris in just a moment, but equally on the day, young champion apprentice-elect Callan Murray scored his 99th and then 100th winner. And in fact, his 100th winner was for Ormond Ferraris. But let's first take a look at Mamdouh Ha in action. This was for Mike de Kock. Callan Murray scoring his 99th career victory.
Then Matilda's daughter Angie B's made an early move, circling runners on the outside of them. Captured Quality 6 to go with Spanish Secret and Yvette further back, Wishing Chestnut and Asculus. 400 metres to go, and just a reminder, is now the new leader, gone clear by 2 from Angie B and Sister Mary. Down the inside, Mamdouh Ha with 2 lengths to make up Captured Quality. Matilda's daughter and Asculus. It's just a reminder, Mamdouh Ha is trying to close in down the inside. Mamdouh Ha's coming home strongly now. And just a reminder, Mamdouh Ha has picked up the advantage and will win it. It's going to be Mamdouh Ha the winner. Second's going to be close, Captured Quality. Third placing, that will go to just a reminder, Matilda's daughter, then Sister Mary.
Callan Murray, a very likeable young man, certainly a very talented rider, riding the odds-on favourite Mamdouh Ha to victory. That was his 99th career victory. Then he teamed up with Ormond Ferraris. A chance ride. Anthony Del Pesce unfortunately indisposed. In the Pinnacle Stakes, which was race 5 at Turfentine, it was over 1,450 metres. This was Callan's 100th winner and Ormond's 2,499th winner. So this was Silver Scooter in the Peter Dimacagianis Silks.
Then Forest Fox in Africa Burn behind that Tiger's Retreat. Further back, Shadow of Ismail, Forest Indigo as they head on down with 300 metres to go. The Captain's Tune, Silver Scooters down the inside. Captain America's got 3 to go. At this stage, not quickening up. Samurai Blade, Shadow of Ismail, further back to Africa Burn, but it's Silver Scooter going strongly with 150 to go from Samurai Blade. Silver Scooter is going to win it, and record winner number 2,499 for Ormond Ferraris. Second, Samurai Blade. Captain America third, Shadow of Ismail. Then behind that came Forest Fox.
Lovely shot there of Callan Murray celebrating his 100th career victories in his 4th year of his apprenticeship. He's destined to become champion apprentice of South Africa this year. We'll talk about the stats a little bit later on. But as you heard there from Nico Kritsiotis calling the race, Silver Scooter gave Ormond Ferraris his 2,499th winner. But before we get to the magical 2,500 and we chat a little more about Ormond Ferraris, firstly, Kevin, your impressions of Callan Murray?
No, absolutely. 6 months ago, I picked him up and I said, this guy gets given chances. He was very small and very weak then. And you can see now he's grown a little bit. He's got to learn now. His riding style will change a bit. He's fluent in his left and right hand with a stick. He's riding with absolute confidence. He puts horses in the right places. He's well-mannered. He's very... when you listen to him in his interviews, he talks sense. He knows he's passionate for the game. And if he keeps his head on, I really think this guy's got a very, very big career ahead of him.
I can only but agree. I've known Callan since the first day he went into the academy, and it's incredible just how much he has shot up in recent times. He's not far short of as big as tall as I am nowadays, but he's certainly kept his weight. There's not much to him. He still rides very light. Then came the Drumstar Handicap. And Romney Prince, this time the chance ride was for Muzi Yenny. He got the chance to ride Romney Prince in the Drumstar Handicap. He was also a plum of the week, so you have seen a little bit of this footage. But let's rejoin the Drumstar Handicap for Ormond Ferraris' magical 2,500th winner.
Prince is towards the inside, running on now. Then Run for Revelry. Further back, Master Switch. Judicial got 4 lengths to go. Shea Devon, Easy Lovers come to the outside, but it's Romney Prince in front. 300 to go is 2 lengths clear here. Racing back in second, Master Switch. Judicial runs on further back to Diesel Jet. It's Romney Prince in front, is 3 lengths clear of Judicial back in second. Romney Prince keeping running. Judicial tries hard in the closing stages. Romney Prince from Judicial. Romney Prince will give Ormond Ferraris 2,500 winners. Second placing will go to Judicial. Then came Master Switch, Earl of Derby and Diesel.
Another very good run from the old man Judicial, catching Romney Prince hand over fist in the closing stages. But Kevin, really appropriate that Ormond's milestone of 2,500 winners is reached with 2 winners on the day for his stalwart patron, Peter Dimacagianis.
Yeah, he's been with Ormond for a long time. Great man also to ride for as well. Very generous man, always used to look after you. Loves a punt on the horses too. And Mr. Ferraris used to give him confidence. But Mr. Ferraris, training these staying horses, anything from a mile on, he was known for it. And his horses always look well, fit, and no dropping out. And that put them in the race and made the fittest horse win.
Well, Ormond, of course, also saddled Cherry on the Top recently to win the Triple Tiara, but this was a great moment in his life, so let's hear from the big man himself.
What an illustrious career it's turned out to be. I'm actually humble standing in front of you, Mr. Ferraris. 2,500 winners, and I get to conduct this interview. Brilliant.
Thank you very, very much, Steve. So I appreciate it. It's been a long road, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. And what pleases me most, I've had such a clean record. That pleases me most. And I've never had more than 60 horses in training. Never. You know, the youngsters today will probably say, oh, well, 2.5, nothing, we'll achieve that quickly. But they've got 200 horses, that's the difference. I have never, ever trained more than 60 horses.
Just coming back to this partnership that you share with a special owner, it's fantastic that he's the one that you trained this 2,500 winner for.
Yes, it is. He's been a very loyal and staunch supporter. I've had a few through the years, but sorry to say they're all gone. He's one of the few left.
They knew this 2,500 winner was coming, so Teletrack had questions that they got viewers to give through. And the question that they picked out is, please ask Mr. Ferraris which was the best horse, if there is one that you can single out, that you've trained from this 2,500 winners.
Well, I would say 2 fillies, Tracy's Element, which belonged to Paddy Hinton, and Cherry on Top. I'd say those were my 2 best fillies.
Well, you got the answer. I'm sure that David, who is in Hong Kong, if he's watched this, he'll be proud of his dad as well, Mr. Ferraris. And to yourself and your team, I know, Sharon, you mentioned the other day, we'll be leaving you to Port Elizabeth. Hearty congratulations, and you've given us many, many moments that we'll cherish. 2,500, well done.
Thank you very, very much, and thanks Sharon too. She's been a very good worker.
That's the winning memento, Mr. Ferraris, for the Drumstar Handicap. But I was told by Mr. Larry Weinstein that they've got something special planned for you. And Larry, if you can get that gift for Mr. Oman Ferraris's 2,500 winner, and it reads, Oman Ferraris 2,500 on March 2016. Hearty congratulations, Mr. Ferraris, and well played here.
Well, what a great moment that was for Ormond Ferraris. 2,500 winners, and he's still going strong. The truth is he's outlived most of his owners, although, Kevin, I'm happy to say that about 10 of those winners were for horses that I had a share in all those years ago, and it was great owning horses in the Ormond Ferraris stable. But let's move on to, you've been sort of watching the websites. You've got some international news for us?
There's a lot of international news coming up. Well, there's first start off in Hong Kong. It's on the 20th of March. It's the Derby, which is a very, very big day for them. There's a horse called Sun Jewelry. He's rated 110. He's already won the Classic Mile over 1,600 metres. He's won the 1,800 metres. Now he goes for the Derby, and no horse has ever won the Triple Crown, they call it in Hong Kong. And we can talk about Vengeance of Rain, Viva Bataka, Ambitious Dragon, Designs on Rome. They've all had attempted it and they got beat. So pressure's on him there. So it's going to be a great day. That's the 20th of March. Don't miss that. It's a great, great day.
Okay, and we'll be back with you right after this very short break. Welcome back to Current Affairs on Winning Ways. We're going to start wrapping up this segment of the show, and then as promised we'll bring you the second half of James Goodman's interview with Michael Roberts, which I'm sure you're going to really enjoy to the full. Before getting some more international news from Kevin, I thought we'll do a quick catch up on the stats, the current stats for the current season as we go into the Highveld feature season and of course champion season here in KwaZulu-Natal. So the breeders, once again a match race between Summerhill Stud and Klavervlei Stud. At this stage Summerhill Stud about 1.5 million clear. The general sires list, very exciting. Silvano top, Trippy second, Captain L third, Dynasty fourth. Not much to choose. The title is once again up for grabs. What is a little bit worrying is that Silvano is now 20, Trippy is 19 years old, Captain L 19 years old, Dynasty is the youngster in the party at 16. So we will be looking to the pretenders to start coming through. As I said earlier, the 2-year-old sires list, still too early to make any judgments. The big features to come, but VAR at this stage is well clear. But on the 3-year-old sires list, it's again a big struggle between Captain L, Silvano, Trippy and Dynasty at this stage as of the 10th of March. That was the order of the top 4. What is very interesting for me, Kevin, is the broodmare sire list. Not many people pay attention to the dam sires and how well they perform, but Fort Wood is in a class of his own this season, well clear of his runner-up rival, which is Western Winter. And then on to the trainers. Sean Tarry, the defending champion, is about 1 million clear of Justin Snaith, so we'll watch that over the last couple of months of the season. The jockeys, as we heard earlier, Anthony Delpeche unfortunately lost out about 6 winners over the weekend, and that hasn't helped his cause. Kamalo, as of the 10th of March, which was Thursday, according to the NHA statistics, 145 winners, Anthony Delpeche 132, but as I said, he lost a few vital winners over the weekend. And then finally, we've made mention of the Apprentice Championship. Callan Murray on 38 winners, but that was Thursday, so he rode 1 on Friday and a couple on Saturday, so he's gone over 40. He's well clear of his nearest rival, Matthew Thackeray. So that's a quick update on where we stand as of the 10th of March as far as this current stats are concerned for the current season. But Kevin, we'll watch all of that unfold over the next few months. Lots of prize money up for grabs, so it's going to change significantly. But to close off on current affairs, you've still got some more international news to share with us.
Yeah, we mustn't forget on Thursday the Cheltenham Festival starts. The Irish versus the English. It is a clash of note. There's some great racing, and to sit and watch it when we're in Dubai, we should sit and watch the banter. It's absolutely brilliant. So that starts on Thursday. The Dubai table at the moment, Doug Watson, he's at 53 winners so far with prize money of 8.5 million dirhams, which is a lot of money. And Mark de Cock's a little bit down the line. He doesn't race in the local racing. He's at 10 winners for half the stake money, 4.2 million dirhams, which is very, very good. And just for the public out there, want to know about Hong Kong, how massive it is, where Gavin Larena and Dougie White and the guys are doing their trade. Joe Moreira has ridden 103 winners this season already, with a stake earnings of 105 million Hong Kong dollars. So you can double that.
That's about our gross national product of South Africa.
Yeah, that's just one man, Joe Moreira. Zach Burton second with 44, Brett Preble third, 38, Keris Teaton 35, really doing well down there, and Dougie White with 25 this year. The domination of the Dougie White in Hong Kong has fallen away, and I think the Hong Kong people want that. They want to see competition, no domination. But Joe Moreira has got them against the ropes over there now, so he's doing very well. All the guys I've spoke to that come back, any ride he wants there, he can ride, and he rides his 3-4 every meeting.
Gavin, has he had any rides yet?
He's had a lot of rides, a couple of places. He hasn't had any winners yet, but I can see it does take time to learn how the system works there, because you've got to get your rides 2 weeks in advance, and they know that he has the ability, because I've seen him win the international. So he'll get his break, and he'll break through.
Well, Kevin, thanks again for joining us on Winning Ways this morning, as Paul and James are doing sales business in Australia. We've come to the end of current affairs. I'd just like to close off with good wishes on behalf of the Winning Ways team, and in fact the entire racing industry, to Mickey Goss. He has not been well recently. He contracted a mystery virus on his way back from the Asian Racing Federation. He came from India through the Seychelles, but we are happy to report that he's now well on his way to recovery. So Mick, if you are watching the show, from all of us here, we wish you a speedy and complete recovery. After the break, it will be James Goodman chatting to Michael Roberts.
Michael Mouse Roberts.
This one ridden by Michael Roberts, his 117th winner of the season.
And Michael Roberts still well clear on Lyric Fantasy.
Well, 4 marks to Michael Roberts.
Michael Roberts gets his name on the board in the Ritz Club.
Well, this is part 2 of Michael Roberts' story with us on Winning Ways, and as we said last time, it's taken a long time to get here. Last time we had a very close look at what happens in South Africa, how the formative years were. The match race is what started it all off. But then Michael decided to take the leap of faith and go and take on the English at their own game. Now, as we spoke earlier, not very easy to go to England and win, never mind win against them, but end up beating them at their own game?
Yes, James, it was tough, but you know, I was determined that I was going to make it, and I put my head down and I worked, and it paid dividends. And I was fortunate enough to find Matota in my first year there, and that, must say, you know, winning the Eclipse on him, a Group 1, that put me on the map because it was like day and night.
Okay, we're going to go and pick up that Coral Eclipse. Let's go and have a look at the footage, and you can talk us through this race because his horse also came from quite a long way off them.
Yes, you know, we had a problem with him. He got beat first time. We ran him over a mile and a half. I was surprised, but being busted, obviously, stamina. But yeah, we had reference point, the Derby winner in the race. They had a pacemaker for Triptych, the champion French filly in a race, and the pacemaker can't even lay up with reference point, and I managed to switch this off completely. And around the turn, I squeezed him. Geez, I couldn't believe it. He was coming good. And I just had to bide my time because also, you know, horses with accelerator of this caliber, they could only go for a furlong and a half. And I was very confident I could be the Derby favourite. I know the Derby winner, he was the favourite. We were giving him a lot of weight because of the weight for age scale. But, you know, my speed, you know, I knew would, you know, have him up the Sandown Hill.
How good was this horse? Because he won 3 of the best Group 1s in England.
He was a champion, the best horse I ever sat on. His acceleration was just phenomenal. You won't believe it. I mean, you would switch him off and bring him out, and it was instant. It was so quick. It was like probably sitting in a sports car, you know. But you know, I've ridden many good horses. I mean, I've ridden Barathea, also could turn it on, but not as fast as this horse could. And he was only a miler. And then I won the King George Queen Elizabeth Stakes on a horse called Opera House, too. Also quite a good horse, but nothing in the caliber of this. I mean, even in Indian Skimmer, as you'll see later on, we beat her. The best filly I rode in my career, you know. But no, he was just unbelievable.
Well, Triptych was pretty hot. He
ran
past her like she would have given her cold.
Yeah, I mean, she was champion French filly. I mean, you know, she won the York International. She won the Coronation. She was top class.
Okay, let's go and look at the next Coral Eclipse, and to win 2 Coral Eclipses in a row is some feat.
Yes, this one, you know, that was obviously the following year. The filly was drawn next to me, Indian Skimmer, and you know, he was roaring a bit in the pens because he was getting a bit boisterous, and he missed the break completely. But I used to miss the break with him on purpose to get him behind, because if horses was up his backside, he used to pull quite hard. And Shady Heights went to the front, Tony Ives, and he didn't go as fast as we did the previous year. And he set quite a sedate pace with Steve Corth and the Sheikh Mohammed colours, you know, running third there. And I was last on him, but you know, never concerned because, like, you know, I knew what I had in front of me, you know, and the horses to beat. But I must say, when you watch him come into the straight, I was cruising, and when I started to go for this, you know, for my whip on him, he resented it, and this horse, Shady Heights, went up again on me, and then I just punched him out hands and heels, and you know, he got up on the line.
He was starting to feel coltish at this stage, so you had to ride him with kid gloves.
Yes, you know, this was at work. You know, we used to work him, and nothing could work with this horse. But in a race, you know, when horses are around him, you know, he used to pull. That's why I had to miss the break on him, because you know, that's the way we had to switch him off.
Well, here he is on the right-hand side of your screen with the white flash. And you haven't even pressed the button yet, but he's got this feel stone cold.
Exactly, and you got Shady Heights, you got Glitzen on the fence, a decent animal, and the grey Indian Skimmer. I mean, you know, look at this, unbelievable.
And you know, this wasn't as good a year as the last year. I think reference point would have.
No, reference point, you know, it was a tougher nut to crack. But you can see now, you see here. I hate him looking in. You can see him. He's put his ears back. Actually, I could feel him curl up, and I put the whip down.
Beaten,
oh yes, and I put my whip down. I tell you what, and I punched him out, and he just fought back.
Yeah, and then he went on to win the King George that year as well. So that was almost as good a win, if not a better win, than what he's just done, because it just showed that you coax that a little bit out of him. Let's go pick him up at the King George and see what it looks like. Raymond, if we can have the King George, here we go. King George, Queen Elizabeth. Tony Bin.
All the top horses.
The best
you know,
horses.
the old horses. I mean, you know, this is like the, you know, the best mile-and-a-half race in Europe, really. The King George, Queen Elizabeth Stakes. I mean, there you see Willie Carson on For One on the outside. He never, you know, he nearly never ran in this race because of the ground. There was rain overnight at Ascot, and we walked the track with Sheikh Ahmed, and they were very concerned. And I said to him, I'm not worried about the ground.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember Willie's comments when he went to the paddock. He said, "Oh, we'll see today if you stay," you know. And For One was obviously, you know, full brother to Nash One.
Yeah.
Yeah, good horse too.
He's in the blue colours. He's sitting
yeah,
third now.
the ham-down colours. And then you had the Italian champion was Tony Bin.
Yeah.
And I'm last at this stage.
And did you ever believe that he might not stay?
No.
He always gave you that feeling.
My biggest concern is to switch him off. He had to be off the bridle. That was my biggest concern. And, you know, I came back one winter, and, my first winter after running, and I was pondering over this. And then I remember Sledgehammer. We came at the Met, and he missed the break in the Met. And Sledgehammer was very much the same. You had to switch him off straight away. If he didn't, he used to pull with you in the race. And I phoned Alex Stewart up and during the winter, and I said to him, Alec, find a race for him where, in a small field. And he said, there's the Brigadier Gerard Stakes at Sandown. There are only about 6 or 7 runners, but it will be top horse will be there. Henry Cecil had the hot favourite there. Guy Howard at the second favourite. There was 5 runners. And I said, I'm going to miss the break. I turned his head sideways in the race. And I missed it about 2-3 lengths. I mean, I picked him up the Sandown Hill. Then all of a sudden the press just came and they realised how good this horse is.
Yeah. Well, here he is last, but you're coming circling the field.
Yes, well, you know, obviously, you know, they've gone a good clip here, and you know, the good horses are sort of in a firing line up there with him, and I just brought him out slowly, just taking my time. And
you look like the horse on your inside is getting out, and he looks like he's got the run on you, but you, in a matter of strides, you've got them cold.
You see, Willie is still, you know, pumping away and For One there in front. And then here we come.
And this was after the Coral Eclipse where he looked like he wanted to dog it with you. Here he really went on and did the job.
Yeah.
For One was a very, very good horse.
Very good horse.
This is a top field. He won hands and heels.
Oh yes, I mean he, you know, there was.
All right, now, you know, you have these highs in racing, but there's always some low coming around the corner. And the Arc de Triomphe, you must have thought that you're going to have a big chance of winning that.
I thought it was a certainty.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you know, it was probably one of the biggest fields they ever had in Arc. I think there was 22 runners or something ridiculous, you know. And
did you go too early?
No, I didn't go early. I never got there.
Yeah.
You know, and
Tony Bin got the run on you.
Yeah, Tony Bin got the run on me.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. You didn't go too early in the run.
You know, I thought to myself, you know, we worked it out. Alex Stewart, my trainer, myself. You know, I said I want to follow Tony Bin. Tony Bin was a massive horse, and I said if any argy-bargy in a race, Tony Bin will be able to stand his ground, and I'm managed to follow him through, you know, in the race. And I got behind him quite nicely, John Reed, and unfortunately, I had a horse on my outside, Village Star, which
we got the race, and,
you know, held me in. You will see it. And by the time I got out, Tony Bin is gone. But saying that, you know, I think, you know, my horse had enough because, you know, he didn't turn it on like he could do instantly. You know, he was making ground at the end, but, you know, Tony Bin was just always holding me, you know.
And you'd beaten Tony Bin already the last time you'd met.
Well, I mean,
beaten him convincingly.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah. But Tony Bin here goes for home, and here you're making the ground on him, but you can see you're not going to get there.
No, I was never going to. I mean, I must say, probably my most disappointing race of my whole racing career.
Was it?
Oh, definitely, yeah. So far, so close yet so far.
Yeah. One would think the Derby might be the most disappointing race that you never won, and you did run second in it, but I suppose maybe you didn't think that you could win that. This one
I think it was a miracle, running
Yeah.
second in the Derby, 500 to 1 shot, you know. No, you know, the Arc, saying that because of the Arc is because I had a proper horse in the Arc. I had the best horse in the field.
Yeah.
On the day, it didn't happen for me, you know, unfortunately, you know. in the Derby, obviously that's any jockey's dream to win the Epsom Derby. And you know, I rode 500 to 1 shot, and we came second. But I mean, we were beaten quite a long way by the great Nash one.
Well, you ended up with a very good relationship with the trainer of the horse that ran second in the Derby, Clive Britton, was it?
Yes, very much so. Clive, you know, I used to work in the beginning quite hard for Clive, and I wrote a lot of work for him, and you know, I got rewarded, and you know, he was one of the people too that helped me, you know.
Yeah, here is the Derby actually, and just chat us through this last couple hundred meters.
Well, you know, it was quite interesting because, you know, obviously a Nash one was odds-on favourite, and you know, I just sort of took my time with him. They went quite a good clip. There's Greville Starkey on the second favourite, and you know, Terrymont came, just plodded on, and we got second.
Was it Lady Beaverbrook's horse?
Yes, the famous Lady Beaverbrook.
Did you get on with her? Did you
very well, yes. No,
she loved her racing, didn't she?
She didn't go down to the you know, to the paddock, you know for the Derby, because it's further down, and she told me I'm too embarrassed to go down to the paddock for a 500 to 1 shot. But I must be honest with you, we finished second. She was in the second box. and she accused me of. She said, "Mr. Roberts, you were only riding to finish second, weren't you?" I said, "No, my lady."
Did you ever get to ride for the Queen?
Yes, quite a few times. Yes, rode quite a few winners for her.
Did she like you and invite you to tea?
Not for tea, but you know, we spoke, you know, on quite a few times. You know.
She loved her racing, didn't she?
Beautiful. She loves her racing. Very knowledgeable about racing, and yeah. No, I was. You know, I must say, after we got beat on the Arc on a Sunday, on a Monday I rode for Lord Huntingdon at Bath, and I rode my first winner for the Queen.
Yeah.
And you know, he said to me, "That feels better than winning the Arc, wasn't it?" And I said, "I'm sorry, my lord, no."
So they were there.
No, the Queen wasn't there.
Oh, with the racing manager.
Yeah, Lord Carnarvon.
Lord Carnarvon.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
Portchester came later, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. So you spoke to the racing manager.
Yes,
Did you ask him to get the Queen to send you an autographed letter? You know, just saying thank you for riding a winner for me.
No, they're very nice, I must say. You know, I enjoyed. Obviously, when you put those colours on, it feels special. Believe me, it does feel special.
Okay, well, it looks like we're going to have a break at this moment, and we'll be back with the next part after this. Well, when you've won all the races Michael Roberts has won, and then you get beaten in the Derby on a 500 to 1 shot and you're not too disappointed, the greatest excitement in winning races in England has got to be to win a classic. And you won a couple of them.
Oh yes, I would say so. I think owner, breeder, trainer, classic. You know, you win the classic, and you know, that was always my dream. You know, and to win the classic, and I was fortunate enough to win my first classic on a horse trained by Clive Britton called Mystico, owned by Lady Beaverbrook.
Yeah. Well, let's go and pick up Mystico, and obviously Terramon helped you to get some rides from Clive Britton. He must have been very pleased with you.
Oh yes, we were. I mean, this horse here. We were so confident that he'd win the Guineas. I mean, you know, I used to go out early in the morning to ride him because he was quite a handful. You know, you couldn't work him with other horses. He used to bolt with you. And I used to go down early, and before any horses on the gallops, he used to take you on Newmarket Heath, and I got him to switch off virtually completely. And this day also we were very lucky because Piggott rode a horse called Bog Trotter in this race, and he was a front runner for. And he took the whole field away from me because, you know, Mystico liked to run, you know, didn't like horses around him, you know.
And who's that on your inside? That's one of the Sheikh's horses.
Steve Cawthon on Lysias, the French horse.
Yeah. And you ended up winning a very, very good race because the rest of them were a long way behind.
Oh yes, they were a long way, yes. Yeah.
How was the feeling? Win your first English
Fantastic. I don't know if you've seen
Oatshorn boy.
Well, it was unbelievable. I mean, to think, you know, all those old names and what you've read up just flashes through your minds when you pass the winning post. You know, to come in the crowds. I mean, it was just a sea of people, to be honest with you. You know, and I mean, I don't know if you got the footage of the leading, but I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Newmarket is like the sort of birthplace of English racing.
Oh yes, very much so. Yes.
And you spend every morning out there on the heath, on the gallops and whatever. You must have sat there couple of mornings you had to look across at the new track, not the July track, the
Rowley Mile.
The Rowley Mile, and think to yourself, I'd like to win one of those big ones here.
Oh yes, yes, yes. You know, Paul Gadsby was apprenticed to Mr. Rickaby, and we used to go out ride our gallops, and this is the Derby, and this is the Guineas we're riding in, and you know we used to have these mock races on the gallops, you know. No, it was, you know, it was a dream.
Yeah. Well, then the dream continues, because then to win an English Oaks at Epsom, so now you won at Newmarket, won the 2,000 guineas, go and win the English Oaks. Got to be just as big.
Oh yes, very much so. I mean, that was, it wasn't a surprise, but you know, for a French filly to come over France where all the tracks are flat, to come to the undulations of Epsom was a big challenge, and she gave me a very, very hard ride. I mean, I think it must have been the only classic winner where the jockey had to stick out coming down the hill.
Well, let's go and pick her up, because it is quite interesting. Intrepidity.
Yes.
Okay. Trained by Andre Fabre. Well, let's go and pick her up in the race and tell us where you were and what was. He has the beginning, the initial part of the race.
Well, when we crossed the first road, she pegged, and she, well, I nearly came out the saddle, and then, but she was never travelling. I'm third from the back. But they're going a good lick up in front, you know.
So whereabouts is she now?
There, she just come into the picture on the right. I'm niggling her, second last.
Oh yeah, she's in
the Sheikh Mohammed colours, the maroon.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're going to pick her up. She's in Sheikh Mohammed's colours, the maroon colours, and there you are, sort of 3 wide and under pressure.
All the way, and you know, she was not. I never sat still on her once in a race.
And what are you thinking at this stage?
Oh God, I tell you what, all things. You know, I never thought I could win coming down the hill. The only time she actually picked it up is you know, when we hit the rising ground, and then the NC one going away.
And what was Andre Fabre thinking in the stand?
Who knows?
Did you end up
probably swearing me?
How did you end up getting the ride?
Well, I was retained by Sheikh Mohammed.
Sheikh Mohammed,
and he had quite a few fillies in the race, and I asked him I wanted to ride. You know, I asked him I wanted to ride because she had the best form. Although she never raced in England before, you know, the English fillies I never thought was that good, and you know, she had very good French form. This filly.
Here you are on the outside with a whip out in your right, going as hard as you can, with a white star on her head. Yeah, no chance.
No chance. Then all of a sudden, and then she started to hang in when she hit the front, and there's a French, the Irish filly with a white cap.
In Sangster's colours.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And that looks like that's going to win it. Yeah. Here you still got no chance. And then she starts running on. It's absolutely
well, now
amazing.
now you just hit the rising ground. You see, that's where she kicked in.
But what is interesting is Lester Piggott always told me, well, let's go and hear the interview. We've got an interview here, which is very interesting. But she ended up winning very easily.
Oh yeah, she also a very good filly, but.
Here's the interview.
Saying he'd had given a free bet on you after a furlong, he wouldn't have taken it. How difficult it seemed for you? You seemed to be off the rail early.
Yes, brother. You know, she's a filly. You know, walking onto the parade. You know, the lads are very good to me. You know, I wish my friends are very good. They said to me, she likes sleeping. You know, she's sleeping all the time.
Like sleeping?
Yeah, she's very sleepy. Watch her. And you know, my instructions were just to do my own thing really, but come with her later on. You know, sort of on the outside. And after we got on a furlong, she actually stumbled on the road, the first crossing. And I mean, I was nearly out of the saddle, and from then onwards, always, you know, we're pushing all the way, and coming down the hill into Tatton Corner, I could feel that, you know, she was coming good for me. I gave her just a crack to, you know, to make her fit, you know, just before we crossed the road, and from then onwards, I was quite confident that she was going to win, you know.
Really, because we were looking up ahead, and rather I was forgotten about you now.
Well, it's a long way to the winning post, you know.
And then it just seemed that once or twice she almost half lost the rhythm. Her head came up and back a bit at you.
Well, you know, obviously, you know, this filly has been trained on perfect ground, flat tracks, you know, and shanty, and you know, coming to this must be a hell of experience for her. You know, this is only a 4th run of her career, but she's good. She's pretty good. This.
And you've got what, a furlong, 2 furlongs still to run. You're closing on them, but they're still some way from you.
Yeah, you know, you see me using a whip on her, but, you know, that is not very hard to smack. So I just get her to concentrate more than anything else. Because, you know, if I just sat there, you know, sort of, you know, punching away, you know, I don't think, you know, she would respond to that. You know, I was just sort of, you know, waiting for the last furlong to really get stuck into a bit, you know. But this is, you know, this is the way she races. I watched the races 3 runs in France, and exactly the same thing, you know. Cherry Giant has always been working hard at it, and she seemed to be going nowhere. Then all of a sudden she found that extra, and away she goes, you know.
And Michael, the ride on her was only confirmed this week. Had you been able to get over and ride her at Chantilly at all?
No, I haven't been, you know, Anthony Stroud just sent me the tapes, you know, he spoke to Mr. Farr. Mr. Farr, he's straightforward, you know, obviously, you know, there's no problem for me to come over and sit and canter on her, you know.
But that was the first time you sat on her in the paddock today?
First time in the paddock, and what's the feel she gave me. On the way to the post, you know, I was just walking next to Pat, and I said to him, this is a nice...
What did Andre Farb say to you after the race?
He just smiled. No, he just said, well done. That's, you know, he's a man of few words, really, you know.
Yeah. Did you end up riding many for him?
A few, not too many, because, you know, I wasn't riding the horses that he would bring over to, you know, to England. Yeah. You know, and
great trainer, right?
Great trainer. I mean, his horses always turned out immaculate, you know, and good, you know, probably one of the top trainers in the world.
Obviously, getting the job with the Sheikh was big for you. You know, to get a job with an owner that big is unbelievable. Brings with it some good horses. And Indian Skimmer must have been one of the best fillies you ever rode.
Yes, you know, she was there before I got the job with Sheikh Mohammed. I rode her, and Henry Cecil phoned me up when Steve got injured, and he said to me, I want you to go ride Indian Skimmer in Ireland in the Irish Champion Stakes, and we won that. We came back to England and we rode in a pretty poly, and then the English Champion Stakes, we won that. And then we went to America for the Breeders' Cup, and unfortunately she didn't get the 1.5 miles. She pulled. She gave me a torrid ride, to be honest with you.
Well, we're going to pick up the Irish Champion Stakes because we think that these races, you know, to go and win against the Irish in Ireland, not easy to do. So let's go and pick her up here, and you can tell us about this race.
Yeah, straightforward, really. It was, I think, Shady Heights. Yeah,
Shady Heights again, yeah.
He's making the running, and you know, I sat third on her, and I just took my time with her. She's a filly. She didn't accelerate straight away. She was more of a galloper. You know, lengthened more than actually accelerate, but pretty good. I mean, pretty good.
Well, here's Shady Heights again. He must have been the most disappointing horse to see you around, because every time Willie Carson, you went past him.
Yeah.
I think he rode at all his races, didn't he, Willie?
Yes, yes, for Robert Armstrong.
Yeah. And here, this filly just absolutely puts him to bed.
Oh, no, she...
Easy filly to ride? Mark?
Very straightforward.
No problem at all?
No, all. You know, ping the gates, and you just, you know... The only thing is that, you know, she liked to have a bit of a gallop on, because she could tug a bit. She tugged with Steve once or twice, and like I said, in a Breeders' Cup turf, oh, how she gave me a torrid ride.
Well, here she is winning the Champion Stakes at Newmarket.
Yeah,
as you can see, it wasn't a big field.
No.
But the same horses again, Shady Heights in front again, isn't he?
Yeah, they wouldn't take her on, you know, so Shady Heights again.
And Henry Cecil, did you get to know Henry Cecil?
Very well.
He's a lovely man.
Lovely man, really. I mean, a gentleman and easy man to ride for. You know, when he said to Michael, I'm going to use you while Steve is off, and I went up to the house at breakfast with him, and I said to him, I see you like your horse has been driven from the front. And he's said to me, he said, Michael, when I run a horse a 1.25 mile, he's fit enough to run a 1.25 mile. Never ever come back to me and say the pace is too slow. Yeah. In other words, you know, use your own judgment, you know. Brilliant man. His horse is super fit. And
did you ever go and have a look around his rose garden? Did he ever show you?
Oh yes,
rose
that's
garden?
the first thing he took me.
He loved that rose garden.
He loved his rose
Yeah,
garden.
yeah.
No, he was such a, you know, one of the, I would say probably one of the nicest, best trainers I worked with. You know, he was, you know, you could just look at a horse, and you know the gallops too. You know, he never used to walk around with a piece of paper in his pocket. He was just, you know, he would come back, and I remember this filly went to, the first time with the gallop there was Greville, Piggott, and myself. I mean, look at this, unbelievable, the way she wins this.
She just absolutely put them to bed.
Yeah. She liked to get it, you know, she used to like the sting out the ground, and this day it was actually, you know, raining at Newmarket. But, you know, coming back to Cecil, you know, and he was, you know, there was Piggott, Greville and myself going for a gallop, and so Greville said to me, ask him who must lead. So I said, Governor, who must lead? He said, you three grown men, aren't you? Off you go. In other words, go do your own thing.
Just as an aside, Greville Stark is a great mate of mine, and he was one of the funniest men you've ever met.
Oh, yes, yes. The funniest story I've seen, I just arrived in, well, my second year in England. We're riding at Goodwood, and the Goodwood Cup, which is 2.5 miles, and start off, you know, you go the reverse way up the straight, then you turn left and right and switch back track, obviously. And there was a Frenchman in a race, and Greville jumped around it. And he said to the Frenchman, there was only 6 runners or something, so he said to the Frenchman, follow me, I'll show you which way to go, you know, because the Frenchman was a bit confused, you see, of this track, and his first ride at Goodwood. And so as we jumped away, flag started, off we go, dawdling along, Greville is in front, and first left turn, and he put his hand out, and he's going flicking like an indicator, and then right, and so he come back. I remember the steward secretary coming in and said, Mr. Starkey, the stewards would like to see you. Could you please explain to us all your antics with your flick? He said, no, I was showing the Frenchman where to go. And he got chucked out.
You know, he came and rode the Jockeys International at Gosforth Park,
yes.
and they had that top turn.
Yes.
As he got to the top turn, he put his
hand out. Yes, he's loved doing it, yes.
Right. Yeah. And he was a wonderful guy. It must have been great fun in the jockey room.
Oh, yes, a scream, I promise you. Yeah. And he, you know, they said, I mean, all the jocks, they used to like playing, you know, tricks on you, you know.
Yeah. Did they pick on you?
Put chutney, oh yeah, chutney in your socks.
Yeah,
cut
chutney
your
in
tie,
the socks.
Yes, tie your.
They thought that was funny.
Yes. Oh yeah, they thought it was very funny.
You play any tricks on them?
No, not really.
No, you waited for the race to play the tricks
yeah.
on them. Yeah. Actually, that jockey room in England is, it can be quite amusing.
Oh yes, very much so. Oh yes, yeah.
But they're all happy when you win a big race. And,
yes, you've got to buy champagne, otherwise
you've got to buy the champagne.
You're not one of them, yes.
That must have
not one, no, a case.
That must have killed you to buy the champagne, because you're legendary in, you know, being sort of short, long pockets and short arms.
No. I used to be, it was only a pleasure.
You were the first to pay there. Right, so you ended up riding all over Europe, and Germany became a happy hunting ground.
Yeah,
for you.
Germany, Italy, and Italy. There are a lot of Group 1 winners in Italy.
Of good, yeah.
Yes, and you know, Bratislava and all those funny little countries, you know.
And that was fun travelling.
Fun, yes, and it was rewarding, because you know they used to pay you for, you know, parents' money to go out and your flights and everything, and that was nice. You know, that's before they started to race in England. When they started racing in England, that changed a bit, because then of course we had to. You know, if your boss had a runner, you had to stay. You couldn't go abroad, you know. But
probably the most lucrative trip you ever made was when you went to Japan and ended up riding in Japan.
Oh, you're talking a different league altogether now. That's the Japanese racing is the biggest in the world. I mean, prize money and good racing. I still maintain it's the best organised racing in the world, best run racing.
How did you get a break there?
Actually, through you know, they just opened up for international riders to come and ride in Japan. Very, very close shop. You can't get in there. And they said they were allowed 2 jockeys, 3 months licenses a year. So, and the first 2 to go was actually Alan Munro and myself. And you had to be sponsored by a Japanese owner. And I was fortunate enough, I was quite friendly with Sheikh Mohammed's Japanese agent, Ricky Takahashi. And Ricky said, Michael, you want to go? I've got the Nishida brothers, you know, they're the biggest owners in Japan. They'll sponsor you. So that's how I got involved, and I went for 4 consecutive years. Yeah. And lucky enough, I got sort of riding in Germany, and I used to go after the season in England, and then I got into Lando.
Well, that was how you got your break to win the Japan Cup, was the German horse Lando.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's go and pick up Lando and talk us through this. This is the Japan Cup. Unfortunately, we've got Eric Denman commentating this race, and he says number 1 from number 4 and number 7. And so you talk us through it and tell us where Lando is, and how you won this race.
Well, Lando was always that, you know, he didn't like to be crowded too, and you know the German trainer just said to me that. He didn't go, and he just said to me, trying to get him to the outside if you can. And
where's he here?
He's 3/4 way back. Sorry, there you see him now, just coming in with red, in the white colours, the red, white and red colours. Yes. and always traveling very smoothly. You know, there you see me just in front of the stripe colours, and you know, he won quite easy. He loved it to, you know, firm ground, this horse, you see. So there you see him about 5th on the outside there in the white.
And had you ever ridden him before? Did you go and...
Yes, I rode him in the Arc, finished 4th in the Arc on him. Then I went to the Breeders' Cup with him. It was soft ground, and they didn't go. And I said to him that they must take this horse to Japan because the ground is so fast in Japan, and because he was going to retire. And they said, all right, they'll enter him, you know. So it was quite
unbelievable to win the Japan Cup, because the Japan Cup is one of the big races in the
Well, at the
world.
time, it was the biggest prize money race in the world.
Yeah. And he actually won very, very
Oh,
easily.
he won. He was a great galloper. I mean, he was a fantastic horse, but he loved firm ground. Oh, unbelievable. He was a different horse on firm ground. You know, I rode him in a Breeders' Cup and the heavens opened, and the trainer wanted to scratch him, and the owner said, no, it's his last run, go, you know. And I went around there. I never moved on him. I just looked after him, and I said to him, please, just take this horse to Japan. He'll win that Japan Cup, because he was, you know, a proper Group 1 horse, you know, take to Japan, you had a big chance, obviously, you know. And, you know, the way the turf rides in Japan is, you know, the grass is very short. And then they entered him, and we went there. You won't believe it. I went down around there, not moving on him.
Yeah,
because he couldn't handle it at ground, you know.
Yeah. And it shows you how horses like different circumstances.
Oh, very much so.
You know, did you ever find there was a horse that would go on anything, do anything, race from anywhere that you rode that stands out in your career? Is there anything that you can think of that you think this horse would do anything at any time?
Well, not really. As you know, James, you know, in England, you know, they race on all soft ground, heavy ground, you know, and but you know, usually the horses with the low actions, you know, they couldn't handle the soft ground in England, you know. But you know, also, you know, I was surprised how the English knew all this in their breeding. You know, it comes through in the breeding as well. You know, the trainer would say, you know, the whole family likes soft ground, and it works. I promise you. You know, and I thought they were mad, to be honest with you, when I first went there. You know, and but also with acceleration battles in soft ground, you know, to use that action to, you know, to kick in, you know.
Michael, you've been around the world. You've done it all. You're out here now, almost, you know, a legend as far as jockeys are concerned. You now train horses. Are you getting as much satisfaction, as much fun as a trainer as you got as a jockey?
Well, I enjoy it, I must say. You know, it's always something I wanted to do, and it's a challenge, and, you know, and I'm fortunate enough, I've got some lovely owners in my yard. I mean, really, I've got beautiful clients, you know, and yes, it is, you know, it doesn't matter if you're in a maiden race or, you know, unfortunately I haven't won a Group 1 yet, I've won a Group 2. But no, it's great satisfaction. Look, you know, the highs are high and the lows are very low, I must be honest with you. It's much harder, obviously, you know, a lot of people ask me, but, you know, there's no question, it's much harder because, you know, jockey can walk away and find a better horse to ride in the next race. And as a trainer, you know, it's like your children. You've got to go home, feed them, look after them, and you ask yourself the question, must have changed a few things here and there. It's a bit more difficult.
Well, you were made for horses. You've made us all proud over your whole career. Thank you so much for joining us, and it's been an absolute pleasure. And one day again, maybe we'll be able to get you in and talk about other things in racing. But all the best in your training career, because we watch you with interest. We know what you're doing, you know what you're doing, and your horses look magnificent, so that must be fun for you.
Thank you.
Michael Roberts, champion jockey 11 times in South Africa, British champion jockey. Nowhere in the world was it thought that anyone could come from South Africa to win a British championship. Never mind win a British championship as convincingly as he did. He's the pride of South Africa, and it's our pleasure to have had him in the Winning Ways studio. Thank you, Michael, and many winners as a trainer.
thought Mujarib had a chance of doing it again. Forey's Waltz moves in. He's taken over as international favourite in front of Ertagel. He's been well supported, and he is also picked 6 favourite.
Forey's Waltz but pounced on the outside, went to his stable companion. Ertagel battles back, but the South Africans are 1, 2 and 4 in the end.
The real Forey's Waltz has stood up this season.
Benadia leads. Anna Arobio is coming at him. The post is looming up. Anna Arobio lunged, and I think in the last gasp has won.
Mike's a magician in successive races. It's at a cock 1, 2, probably 1, 2, 3.